Colorado State University, they've just released their updated outlook for the ongoing Atlantic hurricane season. So we want to break down the numbers. They are behind us. We started off with that initial outlook from Colorado State saying 13 named storms were likely, 6 hurricanes, 2 of those becoming Category 3 or greater. But the numbers have dropped even further, haven't they?
Yeah. Initial in April, June, and then that update today. And this is the first time that we're all looking at it. So we do want to bring in.
Yeah, Bryan Norcross. Let's bring him in. 9-4-1, Bryan. Can we say we're surprised? I guess not entirely, but with Colorado State University doing this for more than 40 years, is this one of their lower numbers that they've generated?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think this is the lowest that I can remember. I need to go back and look at 2013. And remember, this started in 1984. So we had a lot of slow seasons. 1983, right before this, only had 4 named storms. So Dr. Bill Gray, who was doing all this back at that time, I wouldn't be surprised if we had some in that range. But anyway, it's worth going back and looking. But what this reflects really is the El Nino forecast. So when we're in the spring, exactly how the El Nino is going to end up is an open question. There's a thing called the spring predictability barrier that keeps us from knowing that exactly. And the stronger the El Nino, the lower the numbers. I mean, that's really the correlation here. It's a very strong correlation. So since we had uncertainty in April, and a little less uncertainty in June, Dr. Phil Klotzbach and the team brought the numbers down, and now we have more certainty of a strong El Nino, so that's why we're down to 9. Remember, we had that one quasi-tropical storm, Arthur, so there's 8 remaining, and notice the hurricane numbers have come down, and the major hurricane Category 3 and above numbers have come down as well. And as I said, this is all about the El Nino. The question is, what are the water temperatures going to do in this box here? They are warming dramatically. In fact, when we do an analysis of the weather pattern over top of these warm temperatures, we see the weather pattern has already responded to El Nino. Usually there's a delay and it takes longer into the season before we get that response, but we're seeing it already. So the warmer this gets here, the more the atmosphere reacts and goes into this El Nino mode, and it's warming very fast. That's why we see the hurricane predictions going down, or the hurricane season predictions. We also have very warm water up here to the north, so we have essentially a marine heat wave here in this whole part of the Pacific. So this is really a dramatic amount of energy that is unusual going into the atmosphere, and it's going to affect the weather in the southwestern U.S. here later on in the year. And then sooner than that, it's going to affect the hurricane season. So we'll call this El Nino the suppressing factor number 1 in a series of suppressing factors for this hurricane season as far as how things look right now. Now, one other one that we always look at is the temperature of the Atlantic water. Right now you see blues out in here, which means below normal, slightly above normal in the Caribbean. So the net in this area is just about average. That's way down from what we've had the last few years. So we'll say the cooler than normal or cooler than lately tropics is a suppressing factor this year. In other words, it's not going to boost the numbers from what you would consider normal. And then you have the upper level winds, and look at these, the yellows and reds. That means screaming upper level winds. That means super hostile across this whole part of the Atlantic here. So we'll call that a suppressing factor number 3. As we look ahead with the forecast over the next week, you see the suppressing winds continue here in the Caribbean, and generally that's the El Nino signature. As you get through the hurricane season, really hostile winds in the Caribbean, which normally dramatically lowers the potential for a storm there. And then we have one more, and that's right now the dust. Now, this doesn't last for the whole hurricane season, obviously, but you can see the dust is thick. As a matter of fact, in Puerto Rico, Nino, it's been so thick that it's kept the temperatures up at night, which has made it really warm and extra steamy there. When we look ahead for the next week in the dust, you see it spreads all the way over Florida and Texas. Still plenty of dust season left here. That usually lasts into August. Now, there's one other thing to look at, and this is kind of an enhancing factor in terms of the potential for a storm, and that's this very warm water around Florida and the Gulf here. What this tells us, if we get a disturbance that comes farther north, then we're going to have to watch it in here because it would develop fairly close to the coast. So that's, I think, going to be the signature of this hurricane season. Now, Dr. Phil Klutzbach and the team mentioned analog years with all of their updates. These are the years they said kind of look the same when they look at the atmosphere in the ocean. Well, I just want to have you remember here that 1965 was a big year. Betsy was a really bad storm in South Florida and especially in New Orleans. And Joaquin was this horrendous storm in 2015 that backed up over the central Bahamas and stalled and was just very difficult to forecast again. Close-in effects to the U.S. And Iwa in Hawaii in 1982 was the big storm for Kauai. That was before Iniki in 1992. So again, we're looking close-in storms and Hawaii storms this year. There were the tracks of those storms. And you see, even though Betsy kind of formed out here, it was unusual for an El Nino year. In here was the action, all kind of swirling around and weak steering currents and all that kind of thing. We also had Floyd and Danny, which were kind of flood makers, but not big, strong storms. And there is Iwa that was quite strong over Kauai and the western Hawaiian Islands. So those reflecting what we think will happen this hurricane season if we get significant development. Just keep that in your mind because history is a very good lesson. All right, guys.
And perhaps we're seeing it in the present, Bryan, because a lot of the focus, I mean, you ended it in the Central Pacific, could very well be that basin. Actually, from the National Hurricane Center, there are two areas that they have highlighted that they're issuing these tropical weather outlooks for possible development. I wonder what you make of it. Obviously, it's connected to that Pacific heat wave that you talked about.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy out there, and generally the weather pattern is more conducive there. Neither of these systems that they're talking about in the Pacific look like a threat, but one of them is indeed in this water south of Hawaii. So if Hawaii is going to get a strong storm, not that they can't get weaker storms a different way, but a strong storm comes along like this and then goes north, because this is where the warm water is, all down in here. And then up in here, around the Hawaiian Islands, the water is warmish. If you've ever been to Hawaii, you know, you can go in the surf and it's kind of comfortable, but it's not terrifically warm like it is farther south. So Iniki and the great hurricanes that have affected Hawaii over the years, not that many of them, but when they do, they almost always come out of the south.
Yeah, we'll be watching to see how the El Nino evolves and behaves. But you talk about the analogs. I was looking specifically at 97, and it did seem like we had a lot more activity in the eastern and western Pacific. So we'll be watching all sides of the basins. Right. And Bryan, we're not done talking to you yet, because coming up, so don't go too far, we're going to include a conversation here with Dr. Amy Clement as well. Amy is an El Nino researcher and professor with the University of Miami, and she's going to join us here on Weather Command along with you, Bryan, and we'll talk all things El Nino. Answering questions, by the way, that some viewers have sent in as well. But in the meantime, Bryan, thank you for that update, that latest outlook from CSU coming in just moments ago.